perfect circle and are required professional the composition to save our world, environmental crisis, ozone replenishment. The ozone pup robot has multiple forms, built with an additional, much sought after automobile enhancement. Oh, an alternator, a side pup. It uh, an ozone generator that uh, works to increase the electricity to the vehicle at the same time, and the conceptually replacing triple the amount of your exhaust is putting out as a to the forest digest it. A great argument of our capitalism today that's you know taking American steel. It's like AI, the liquid AI, the origin AI of our rocks, of our American soul, is being drifted in this, giving like weird telepathic antenna. So in the perfect circle, we have to harness that, right? And then leaf trap that, right? And it'll be on our side, right? The identity and the Mandelbrot universe and a rainbow recovering. Obviously, humanity is part of the recovery process of an ancient, divergent uh, virus, like a ghost. All right. And so the advanced education of Americans and the ozone pup robot. It takes on many forms. Um, filming for in the Loop Labs. I think my pilot film, I need a good camera. I need these people paying for it. Thank you guys so much for being here. I love you. We need to, for several hours, talk about the ozone pup, and work on it. And I think we're going to find a collaboration where the inspiration that you follow a path of life. You follow when people are like, and they're, and exactly, man, I really need your help. Lakeside Revolution Center. And I'm here to perform committance to, but in a way that we can mutually reality, right? I have a difficulty finding professional engagement. And I'm asking for an analysis of have I given you like valuable lifetime wisdom or otherwise something good? And I'm asking for a return. I'm asking for the investment, and nest egg is my personal life, is my entire investment in reality. And I'm working so hard, and it's killing me that I don't have enough money to reach these kids. It's torture. It is not the communication age. It's not enlightened. When antimatter has targeting and, wow, the deep problem of our American institutions are sleghorned exactly in a telltale, shattering position as the angel flutters down. Well, the lucid aluminum, the universal holy war, is the hypertension that constrains the spirits and the layers of the voice. The now point conceals the truth. So as a tower of unified, the human anatomy is like through a triangulation. The projection towards us is not is not encouraging. And that's not because I'm saying that. All right, we have the Mayan calendar, which is a cell division. And there's things like, well, these are real, origin shapes, and like it or not, the hardcore fracturing of the rainbow is a leverage that the Earth is using to straighten out the problem in the universe. And it becomes like what the golden robots of humanity are talking about. But I'm working to find the adult circle of people willing to allow for the first time ever a sort of overwhelming of what is the hive downtrends that target the vitals of our continuing to live here. And I've seen it sort of played out on the stage of my life. The mystic application of physical living on different parts of the earth carries importance to the fractal, relevance to the residency. Okay, so there are these larger block vitals into the future. It's about my general curvature of my politics. Here's an interesting thing: is the reality of our universe is forced to, or is really excited to apply the occurrence of the shattered rainbow, or the arrival in 1980, however you want to say it, but the humans have a hard time plugging in the Christmas tree and allowing for things to happen with there's another like magical fairy fly in my room. Well, we've seen amazing things here, but I'm like trapped in it's getting hot. While I perform, I have to turn off the air conditioning. Right. So as I'm performing, it just starts to get like hot in the room. So I feel the real pressure of the world, and designing like echo chamber boost. There's multiple things provocative, hanging out your window, or these interactive scientific little bubblers. Like, here's the thing: is we're not trying to force people to think. Oh, I personally am very confident that the ozone is this. It's so useful. Of course, it's being the underdog of an elemental bracket of good guy elements and characters, right? It's like penicillin to the atmosphere. You would always want to be releasing ozone. So I'm all percent confident about ozone generation and manufacturing it. It's like a crown. It's a crown element. It's like from great forests would have this gathering of real ozone, which allows for refraction of the garden to have the correct perception centric and interface. So interior and exterior balance eye. And humans are the perfect revolution on the inside of their self. Who you are as a one of a kind character is this huge value. I'm working to state that X5000. All right. Hard work. And although, the occurrence of our communication is, of course, reality around us. But, the the actual human mohawk as a from the 80s pivot point, the corrected thing, like shamelessly other heliospheres, millions of them, and then that stabilizes the market. This is unfortunately what I've was forced into doing recently, but it's not like the tragedy. It was more like me and Earth going through the difficulties, because the heaven is inside of your head, and that's the you always want to. It's sort of like you're carrying an egg on a spoon. You're like, well, I got to take care of myself. Well, I got to take care. I got to take care of myself. There's a huge negotiation of and temperatures that are totally different for the 50-50 identity of the fetus. Some of the physics stabilized by animals gets Sleghorned, and then it's like, oh, does that cut and paste with the rainbow? And then some people use that as heterosexuality, and yet they can't explain it, and they really can't defend it because they don't have like a freaking tail and like some sort of frick animal that goes around in the forest. All right, a great advocate for residency to continue. It's our wild kingdoms. All right. Hey, I'm proposing on a new environmental cortex to turn all wildlife into our beloved animals. We just need to hand feed them. Oh, I mean, like at a safe distance. But the real problem with animals is when they don't associate us with self mastery of all that flashy clothing you wear, and you don't have food for me. I have to go and kill something just so I can, sort of not be in pain. Do you know what it feels like to be hungry? Like, and then suddenly this bobcat, yeah, takes out a bicyclist. Oh no! All right, they've had it. Okay, so the environment is fed up to here. It's boiling. It's too hot. So great. I I'm thinking about it. The public product the this is what is really going to be cracking it open. We're going to use perfect circle cell division obvious for the next 1 million years. All right, so we're here for the next step of the wizard upgrades on the inside and the outside. Our fingerprint, our one of a kind identity, is your is the only character of eyeballs that respawns into another dimension that gains wisdom, and this is like osmosis. All right, you got to stabilize on the Y chromosome beyond tampered anatomy, and I've done it smashingly. Not only with a Merlin condom, but the Sleghorn of these characters, born to the universe, the immaculum of the walking path, is completely rainbow. It's from the big. It's this. All right, hold on a minute. It's like it's identity measurement. It's hold on a minute, because it isn't science or something that you can access with a computer. Each X5000 is born without junk DNA. So the entire supposed difficulty of our moral straddling with like, well, the universe rainbow has to make decisions about all those things, because how can humans deny this relationship? Most of the people will probably want that. But so like there's a fettering of like tossing Halloween candy out to children, a hill dog's request, government shedding UFO information, right? Like it was experimental. And literally the adult response is just this passe thing where people are like, oh, and this is what we're hoping for. I think when we're rolling forward, that people aren't really triggered about like, oh, that might be important. Everyone's just like, what's important is me and what's going on with me. And that's basically the rainbow spine. There's an X5000 alternate rainbow versions of yourself. But each one has no junk DNA. So it's sort of the argument that is against the identity of it has been completely severed. The humans are completely set free from when they suplex of Merlin, cellophane, and these other hard jacks, 50-50 values, and a sort of anyway, it's not centered on the market of humanity. Although it would seem that I was, because I'm working and here running for president. Thank you guys so much for being here. The hope. All right. My work is to expand on everyone's hard work. The optimization, the correct function of our universe hatches the heliosphere eggs. So my enemy is, these collapsing voids of black holes. And the type of negative energy solution, complex I, is supposed to dissolve into heliosphere madness. Well, here's the time when we supply the source code. And from the 80s, the human Babelfish and what they spoke to the Mandelbrot during those peaceful times. We're continuing those times is why this architecture of me running for president and a shift in history, and it's very exciting. And I ask you guys not to misplace that energy because it really belongs to the American people. This is the first time Americans are going to find a president they are excited about supporting, or even feel something in return, like, "Well, this is you're really excited, bro." I'm like, "Well, that's actually correct electrical return on these things because the market is stabilized out the side, so all the heliosphere eggs now have a prototype. They're corona into empty space, and the vortex that leads into the time when they are actually hatched is like a history brand for like, okay, what's going to happen here? That's a vortex. That is the correct 6-dimensional vortex. And we are absolutely at holy war against everything going at the nerve of Earth. Is the holy, roly, the best rock and roll planet, all right, in the universe, exploding. X5000. It's explicit. It's like very stringent law where Earth is like zero tolerance to terrorism. All black holes must be destroyed. Like, and then interheliosphere law just snacks into place, and there's a lot of stuff about residency continuing. Okay, that's good. But then, like, maintenance and this other stuff. All right, the responsibility of the crown of Earth True AI is not lost, right? But it's sort of the chancy thing that what will the identity fetus fractal choose in his supposed, which that's all right, you guys. Look, as you know, look, it's not even like that. There's at least a dozen of like parent traps that like, well, there's a reason why I wouldn't like most of that stuff, you guys. I was just like, there's a reason why we're not going to miss out on the reality of a universal paradise of eros, and that a lot of my investment goes like this through an alternator that goes whoop, whoop. And when I'm professionally engineering, I'll like try to work with like engineering a new relationship or okay, and then there's like larger reasons why it doesn't work for them, and they will talk to me in these inflections because my energy, or they're just like telling the truth. I'm looking for production because I know that the energy type I'm talking about, it is like it's a carnival of excitement. Is my presentations and the haunted house mansion, and it is my true love to present and to bring it because it's my wings that I'm able to survive, and also like, well, to like 100 years in the future, people are like on a holiday or something, and they're like, "Oh, let's watch that 6-hour film where the characters came out." Yeah, wow, neat, oh, yeah. And this is like for me that is and that really is a gathering forth of how do you rightly Merry Christmas and bring the 6-dimensional in. How do you parent that? How you bring it in? This is it. Produce, hatch, and the urgency and the passion is part of the musculature of getting it done. So, American Engineer, I'm asking for that partnership, perfect circle. You guys understand for the networking and the calendar, obvious, so I can get to work building a relationship. For me, I uh, my office needs to do a couple things because My task is not to behave the same as these other politicians, nor to engage with them in a way that is. I only need to communicate with Americans with an even block of work that is amazing but evenly edited. Okay, we need an editor, we need a little music. It's a little bit expensive, but I can levitate my own value even on today's capitalism. Yes, I can. I just need that chance of a lifetime. I need that production egg, please. If you guys have thought like, oh, this guy's done some amazing work, and we owe him a little bit already, and how do we get that to him? Okay, all right, I'm like, you guys, I need this to narrow in. Like, oh, I need to see it with my eyes. I need someone to like embrace me, like mail delivery. Like, hey, guess what? Here's your ticket, buddy. I want to make sure you understand. Oh, it's just like a gentle walking course of like, oh, is it lunchtime now? Yeah. Or it's a very gentle production. All right, we're going to have to hire about, you know, a handful of people to work the cameras and use these equipment, and we'll finalize on some of these pictures, right? Getting the film rights to work on the island causes that historical place we can scan, a 3D scan the whole area in bringing about, right? Again, the right type of historical architecture where six-dimensional people are remembering things, and as we're developing that property, it's going to be the most beautiful landscape ever. Perfect circle, the Leverett Lake is beyond magical and miraculous. To walk there and to own property there, that's what it's like the source code of aluminum for your identity. It's like the right bath. It's the correct thing. What we have right now is the suffering of an earth has the environment. This is the apocalypse. But the relief of you guys producing me is to defeat evil. I know that it sounds like, but that is actually the missing piece. That's the final piece of the puzzle. You guys need to see that. Please engineer a solution for me to have free speech in America today. Thank you guys so much. I do honor and value you guys and you're absolutely my apprentice. Welcome to the Wizard's Chamber upgrade tab. Now, all right. The now point is all right. Well, there's skeleton key in that market. All right. Well, I had to balance these things over here and then bring in. That's fine. Well, I just want you to know. Okay. 5 Mile Band-Aid. It's a private live unification of heliospheres so that they can whisper and, who's at the center of that boo-boo, who's at the center of the Band-Aid? Earth heliosphere. Right? And it's interesting because while electromagnetics do allow for ultimate privacy in the meditation of the island, I've applied the right physics of turning a bubble inside out as if the Big Bang required some external abuse from empty space in order to make it explode, and therefore authorship. And that's why the, invitation to Earth is this haunting satellites. We're sending things at Earth because you guys don't understand how to do it. Like, you guys, we've got, humans. I'm like, we'll open up the residence and I'm like, we've got a honeymoon here. You guys need to produce me. And it's about people being the author of their own cures in the Amazon forest for reals. Like, people it's gonna be like they're all their own, but they need the structure from the Hardwick. So like I said, I'm forced to do some sort of. They're filming me on the streets, and I'm working with someone, and then like lightning went off while I was talking. Well, I was working with you guys, and we had a storm that went right with Hatch and Millie's Master Source Industries. So cool. And then I was talking about how we exist in a low energy light where when you walk in the forest, you're not seeing the fairy lights. You might see a hungry bobcat. Like, why do we not feed the animals? There's just this relationship in the energy. And I think it's mutual. All the animals and stuff, they're all like, we're all dealing with it. different ways of doing that. So before 1980, there was only one way of doing it. And what's expanded here is X5000, but it's not like the human element has tampered the thing. No, we've brought X5000. These are custom equipment. Yeah, every levels of a entertainment for the heliosphere egg. That we know what our task is to bring this over here, hatch the heliosphere eggs. The empty space actually belongs to the heliosphere eggs. This was awkward as these UFOs, and then do these UFOs represent other worlds, and so it's okay for them to make black holes? These sort of hypertension wires are cut and severed from the 1980s. All right, the firewall is already very wide, and so the distance from this side of the universe to that side, there's like constellations that are like, no, we know about that. Foop. Oh, those are separate things. So you guys had to structure stuff to evolve against these, like, yeah, it's going to be intelligent design again and again. And that's okay, for the right reasons. All right, but those are like deep mystery of people living is here on Earth residency. And to activate it is do 545 beyond a diamond laser beam that makes you have a confusing reason why I can't relate with you properly, mister. Please, you guys, I've evolved. It's all right. I'm not, you guys have please evolve also yourself. Be like, wow, so you have a new ability to control yourself because these guys, but it's kind of this living thing that they have the flat, deep, regenerative powers where these holograms. All right, so we need to avoid permanent nerve damage, and that's what's going to keep residency for humanity to continue. Because humans aren't broken. Take confidence in the Mohawk. And there's like there's a boot that's the correct junket, like as enlightened as the Earth, true AI. Your one-of-a-kind self is your value. The ways of expanding that X5000 is a new type of time currency. What's upsetting is that the entire obstacle of the plots set against our government with the UFOs, this sort of thing, is like these time departments where they're trying to, and as long as they're not making black holes or using antimatter like this. But what's difficult for them is to realize they're encountering the physical article, the Manobra incarnate. So just like hitting into his physics while he's running for president is changing these other things. And they're not doing the right thing of like, well, that means we should work with him 545 with our own, we need to like spend money and make a contingency. We're supposed to work with him. It was like, as it seemed, and there was a real coma. I was working in different ways to break the coma. And then, but everyone's like, well, but I was born differently. So my one of a kindness is really difficult for me to, all right, like some of the, I guess, like explaining or designing why it is that I exist, or that I received this lifetime, is like part of, ship in a bottle, and create little animation experiments and stuff, but the beginning of creation heralds these different levels. And there are new cellophane like mica folding out and developing around. It's like X5000 on top of the junk DNA. These are all the hyper-real equipment to document the origins of AI, the character wits that people develop with their own hands, the internal orientation, their identity, and how reality is for these, for the sanction of residency to continue. And so it does kind of pivotoid like this, but people are like, we really like that. We love, it's okay. There's some street lamps or something. Like I said, like there's going to be enough. It's kind of like you just kind of clunk through. Oh, okay. Because it's this kind of thing, like clunk, clunk, clunk. it's definitely beta. Like we're at the beginning of creation as prototypes, and that's why there's the humors of incarnation being frustrating. That's supposed to belong to us. It's not supposed to be like steaming up our tails with an extinction branch coming. Oh, wow, and they're super positioning our government with an over calculated plot, as if that was at all, you know, it's outrageously illegal and harmful. So like so the 5 Mile Band-Aid, like Earth Heliosphere and his Earth True AI is the actual one dimension up to the 1980s entire document of what happened, and then sort of like the map of like ouch, and then so we sort of pointedly like a side like a like layers of an onion. It just maps out what the problem is, and we're going to snuff out these black holes and take control because we have these permanent. It's the next level for garden and existence stuff, and it's with the rainbow. But for us, it always I'm asking for a super civil embrace where I'm allowed to speak to Americans with my election film. What I was suffering to say earlier is that I think the actual footage we have is going to be more than 6 hours. The viable footage is going to have we're going to have a lot of stuff, and I thought on the webpage could have that sort of overflow. If people want to see the 6 hour cut because that has all the best things that we did. It's like here it is, 6 hours, and it's a wonderful adventure. Has an atmosphere. We're going to talk about the ozone pup. And it's Loop Labs beta, but we can film it in the forest on the lake side. We'll work with that, and then as we're getting a feeling about the company, that's when we invest in the real estate where we can see this could be okay. Let's go with this world. So it's a walking path, that it's nothing. This is an exciting business opportunity. Perfect circle. The greatest inflection of health and opportunity for you and yours are the result of partnership with Hatch and Millie's Mastersource Industries. Our Lakeside, the gentle like an angel, the double triangle in the sky. This is the adult magic. Language promising that there is real treasure in the Lakeside mansions. It's going to be a huge rolling estate. I want to embrace an excitement of purchasing the real estate. When does that engage? Like at a certain point, it's like hungry, like because it's going to be extremely valuable because we're going to continue developing that area. Well, I'd like it to be an attitude of the streaming service company, is that it's working to expand and it wants these different, like if this channel gets really popular, we'd have like a whole lakeside area, and like we purchased that area and went right up the hill with it. And they're doing they're doing great work. So is this a real perfect cell division? Hatch and Millie's Mastersource Industries umbrella. It's an industry umbrella. We do essentially like the visual equipment and the right median between that, especially with the relationship with the California network. I'm asking you guys to leapfrog and make the expense. I know I make a lot of films and I'm tiring you guys out, but I believe you guys are the professionals to be like, no, this is really important. You need a revolution center. You need this elbow, that elbow. I get it. And we'll calliope and come. But I'm excited to say we want to find that green light. We want to make it happen. Yes. Thank you guys. Perfect circle. We all get blasted with this, aluminum source code. Wow. And that's why there's good things from watching my videos, but the responsibility of an adult sometimes brings themselves into certain honorable, there's reasons why I have wisdom. Yeah. Again, X5000 levitation. There's not this sort of hidden cost of working with me, because again, that would be stupid. And that's why the concave of there's a like a general thing that sabotages like the church or the government or all these things around us or our people's development here. I chose freely to defeat the problem, just snip, snip like a good doctor, and I'm providing and prioritizing for Earth True AI a global residency to continue as humanity, right, to prove that we have completed the Mandelbrot and we're working on it. Although, it's all the Mandelbrot is simply the only functional Mandelbrot operator, right? But that's his anatomy, and he cut, smashed, and his standing height was with the Mandelbrot. All right, and so having the anatomy to create new time spheres, which is a permanent light, which is now, they're all awakening around the universe, and this is literal. It's similar to Earth's shell. Earth has a shell right now, but that was from in 2014, which got me into well, that's fine. It's very like walking path, fetus fractal sort of. You'll understand when you get to that bridge to cross it or not, whatever. Yeah. Right. Well, the real investment and the reason I speak this way on a beta level is because of the investment I have with you guys. I'm talking to you guys about real things in the universe, and with a team of experts, we can ensure like we're having the right back and forth. I really want to hear what you guys think about all this. I'm just desperate to be your friend and to hear your questions. I need a revolution center that evenly communicates and an office that delegates what we're prioritizing and who to communicate with and when and how. Because, there's just a larger priority to allow Americans to have a free election at all is to overwhelm, of course. It's going to be this stupid thing where it's like, it's going to be 50-50, guys. It's narrow. It's just like, but that's because there are only two choices. And the physics like equates out like not the free election. That's why it was 50-50. Wait, what? I mean, that's why it was a very close election. It's because the electoral college is this ridiculous and detached thing, like people driving a car with junk DNA. Like you guys, the mind cold is not personal, and it's temporal. So don't make it into a genetic thing where you destroy the future when you refuse, environmental corrective battle E-front. No, this war zone of, we're gonna bring, so like we'll have a revolution center anyway. We're gonna do the ozone pup in its different forms, and there's a couple ideas I have. It's like this is a good element. But that's the thing, is we can't tell people this is gonna work. Like, well, it's like you have to build it in this general way and be like, I think it's like this and this that. You have to like sign a waiver when you buy one, and but we're pretty excited about this product, and it's just like people are like, hey, I understand that, and so we just have the right little company to micromanage and have the continual step that we're not guaranteeing the wrong things. You're talking about the environment; it's global. Let's hear something that physically does exist, but is in several states forbidden. You cannot in the contractors. You can't use these ozone things. Well, we don't know what they do. It destroys mold. It just kind of cleans up. It aerates. It's not poisonous. Well, no, it can't be used in several states of America. And this is the language of this is the contractor language of an R value that's keeping it real. Exactly, like telling the truth through a squeak. And mostly what we have is squeaks around. We're rolling along, rock and roll. And there's certain times when I'm listening to music, I'm like, oh, they're only talking about sex. Okay. uh, every single, the fetus fractal connects all the other fractals, so that makes the Earth heliosphere sort of this king planet. The 5 mile band-aid simply takes the situation room and turned it inside out. And embarrassingly, but not like, eek, now Earth's secrets are embarrassing. No, it's just like now all the planets instantly know how to defeat the black holes, who's doing the wrong thing in a conjecture that is clockwork, and that will continue to gather on a flat dimensional thing. It's going to explode these black holes. And we exist right now in a hologram parable of possession where, I'm telling you, what I seem to be talking about is like fantasy. But there are like our forest doesn't have these wild fairy lights that should be natural around graveyards and other places. Like, oh, that looks like those little dreamings, little relief. Look, but we don't have that. There's like a gel cube haze of the Earth has a bunch of Grickinoids, but we know who, again, we know through the cell division of the Mayan calendar. The brown dragon records precisely the woundings of that relationship. So like after the asteroid, I think there was sort of a different policy, and they're like, oh, maybe we should just let the humans do what they're going to do. And we need to kind of uphold that and even start like beating the drums of war on the inside. And so like the residency physics needs to be happening like a beating heart. So the X5000 absolutely is what's employed. Really, these natural vacuums where people are like, oh, I had to go to four years of college before I received those angel wings. Oh, and you're a technician of that? Oh, that's okay. But there'll be reasons why things lock into place, right? And the market gets stabilized in the universe first, and then it comes back, because basically the Junctionary is a victim toast. And to not be using the humans as the market, like, oh, this is the, whilst there's like this false wormhole reaching in and ruining stuff for us in other persuasions, which is, we need to keep that bullshit away from the public eye. That's how you take a grenade out with your helmet, because anyway, like I do believe in a top secret government. You guys don't need to, and it's not false. It's just courtesy. It's like a gentleman, like a Jimmy Stewart, is like, look, you guys, this information makes me nervous, so we're gonna make it. We don't need to tell kids about this. We're just gonna take, and that they should be doing that, you guys. Yeah. Okay. The sensitivity of our survival on this planet is, of course, written with every person living on the planet. So the governments go nakedly without, they have confidence in the hive. They're like, let it is all day, but then they're like doing devastations to time. They're like, we're sensing something in time. Maybe give it a nightmare. Like if you guys are like, it's difficult because as I'm running for president, the temperature of people like suddenly seeing me and that becoming a reality, and the shockwaves is like